segment. So,
turn the lights on?
No, I guess it wasn't. So, we're going to use some highfalutin technology that I had to finagle, put together. So this is why this looks crazy like that. And so, I try to. And today, by the way, we're winging it. So I don't have anything that I came to work today prepared, but I had something in my mind that I kind of wanted to find, and I finally found it. And, I was going to share it with you, but I kind of pride myself in bringing to the table original material. But at the same point in time, I also feel like part of my role is, or part of what I want to do, not only for what I want to be able to do for the people in this room, but other people that join us, like Dawn or anybody else out there in the world, is to bring a perspective and make us think about things. Okay, and so I'll talk to you a little bit about kind of what's happened in the last little while as it pertains to here. And if you think back, it started out with, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it started out with Jody getting a pretty bad phone call from or an email or however that went, going, hey, the project you guys are working on, your bread and butter, your partnership has ended, and it's ending tomorrow or today, not in 40 days like we like to talk about. It's coming to an end. And one thing escalated to another, and the idea was for to be able to create a new partnership, which is what we've done here. We weren't too sure how that was going to work, and so on and so forth. And last week, or last month, we were doing some pretty big high fives, and we got pretty excited because we knocked a record out of the park, and we got close to it anyway. So I think we all feel like we did something really well, and that's awesome. And because of that, and because of the way that things have happened since what looked like to be a pretty bad day, because of the way that things have happened, and because of getting together, teaming up with people, like Coley, who has become a part of the team and kind of knew how things. Just all of those things and the way that all of that happened, what we've had is opportunity, and we've seized and taken advantage of that opportunity. I don't think anybody can really, disagree with that. And it's not really an unfamiliar story. It happens a lot. Some of the greatest companies that are out there, like Coca-Cola, who come from a guy who comes up with an idea, who sees us an opportunity, opportunities present themselves, and they roll along with them. And that's what's happened in the last little while. And what I kind of wanted to started thinking about the other day was, where are we at, or where am I at, and what kind of opportunities are there now? And kind of, what are we doing with them? One of the things that I have a problem with is what's called self-sabotage. And there's two reasons for self-sabotage. Self-sabotage is when you sign up to do something that you can do, and then you start down it, and you get really early into it, and you're like, this is starting to be overwhelming. And even though you thought the process through, it scares you, and then you stop doing it. And I've got a lot of experience in that from a couple different reasons. The other sport of self-sabotage is when you have a success and you start doing something, and you head down a road and you start having a certain amount of success, and then there's the time to take the next step. When you're at a position where you can keep doing what you're doing for quite a while, or you can progress and move forward. Some people are very good at getting to that point and taking those steps. And I'm going to use myself, I'm going to beat myself up here as an example because I'm really good at it. I'm going to use BroadLook, or this program that we're talking about, to talk about that. BroadLook for me is very scary. And the reason it's very scary is because it's foreign to me, it's complex to me, and ultimately there's the problem of failure there. Now, when I deal with my own self, and it's something that for me, or it's something that rests on my shoulders, things can live and die, and the possibility of failure comes along, doesn't bother me. When the possibility of failure presents itself and it affects a group of people, it bothers me immensely. Okay, and the other reason that's kind of a burden, or that is something that weighs heavy in my mind, is because it's a possibility. It's an opportunity. And it's not just an opportunity for the people in this room. It's the opportunity for the people that are out there. It's an opportunity to harness, to take advantage of something. And by being able to take advantage of it, to leverage not only our positions as a group here, but as a group here. Does that make sense? Okay. So, you get into this thing and you start looking at it and you start delving into it, and you're like, oh my God, this is a lot, and I can see why this is valuable. What if I can't do it? You see what I'm saying? So, And that kind of dovetails into the concept of opportunity. And I just want to talk a little bit about, what opportunity is and how you seize it, and what you're really doing with it, and do you recognize it? We're in a little room here. It used to be a storage room that needs paint. That Pete came in yesterday and said, "This place is horrible." What do you say? This place is horrible. This place is ugly. This is a mess, he says. Well, we don't think of it a mess because most of the time, we're head down. We're doing what we got to do, and we look at the board and we look at a couple of other things, and that's how we measure our results at the end of the day. This week we can work with. And we've all been in situations, at least some of us here know, and I don't know, Don, if it applies to you, but we've all been in situations where a lot of things have been far less than ideal. Or there's been things have been kind of ideal, but the ability to move forward, to get to the next step, to take advantage of what you bring to the table is pretty rare. It wasn't there. We know what that's like. It's frustrating. Beat your head against the wall, beat your head against the wall. And one of the key things I think when it comes to realizing and seizing opportunity is to realize what that looks like and what's really on the table. And then to take an assessment of what are you doing with that. Okay? And I'll give you a perfect example of that. There's nothing better than being able to work with a group of people, small or large, that have a similar or like purpose. They're trying to get to a certain point. They have a task and a job to do. And at the same time, not operating not being out in the cold. Okay? And that's kind of what we're like in this room. We have a like mind that we're trying to do something. We want to take this to the next level. We want to do more, but we're not living and dying each day as most little companies or groups are, right? We have a partnership with VLG. We're a big family here, and we're all encompassed in the same thing, okay? So there's an opportunity there. We live in the land of opportunities. We like to call this place the bunker. I don't know if you know that. We're the bunker. We're the bunker boys. I've come up with a couple nicknames. None of them stuck yet, but we like to call this a bunker because it's kind of a military type situation, and we need. I'm not gonna say. I need to. One of the things I needed to do over the last couple of days was I stopped and looked at it. I had to ask myself a question, and the question was: there's a difference between a challenge and an opportunity. And a challenge is something that you overcome that has no result greater than the challenge itself presents. Okay? I cannot dunk a basketball. Now, if I could dunk a basketball, the only thing I would get out of dunking a basketball would be being able to dunk a basketball. Okay? Rod look, again for me, is a challenge. Now, it's less of a challenge today than it was yesterday, but it's still a challenge, a lot to learn. But the difference between the two is that that's an opportunity. And the reason it's an opportunity is because if you conquer that challenge, there are other things that come along with it. Does that make sense?
Right.
And I don't think that's, I'm not lighting the world on fire here. But that's a broad, obvious, painfully obvious thing. You can find a system that helps desperately automate the development of lists that you need to do your job and your clients need to be successful. Harnessing something like that, obviously, that's a challenge, and obviously it's an opportunity, and obviously that leads to better things. Okay? It's an obvious opportunity to take advantage of. There are other things in life that aren't as obvious of opportunities, or aren't as obvious as situations that we get to take advantage of. And when I say that, I'm talking about the basics. I don't think anybody here woke up homeless today. I don't think anybody here has been hungry in the last probably few months. Maybe have those days. We got paid today. We did not get paid last week, at least the people in this room. Last week, for some of us, who weren't as smart a few weeks before as we should be, who, for a little bit of lack of knowledge in myself, lack of planning, and just basic general fiscal debauchery, if you will, we're greatly looking forward to this week because it's money. We live on money. It makes us survive. There's two things wrong with that, I think. One, and unless somebody here got a massive amount of money that I don't know about, it's not really enough money to make a drastic difference. None of us are going to live or survive or do high five over the paycheck we got this week. And at 12 months from now, it's not going to matter. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, maybe 3 days from now. Maybe it doesn't matter already. Okay? It's not big enough to make a difference, and it's not small enough to make a difference. You see what I'm saying? But we were very, very, very excited to have that because it's the fruits of our labor, and it presents to us opportunities to do other things, aka golfing, dating, having a beer after work, not borrowing money for gas. I don't know who does that, but okay, right? But it's interesting. If you were to change your perspective on what your true opportunities are, especially living where we live, what would you do, or what are you doing with your time and your talents and your abilities? Let's bring that back to work. What are we doing with the opportunity that we have to be partnered with a fantastic company who has taken us under a wing? Now, we're doing great things, okay? I feel like we're killing it. I think some of us do here. I don't think anybody wants anybody in this room to ever go anywhere because we're doing good results. But what are we really doing with our opportunities here at work? That's an easy segue. It's easy to think about. And some people might think, wow, we're doing really good. We're doing awesome. Okay, so what are we really doing with the opportunities outside of work? Cole the other day was talking about, hey, I got some orphans. I got some things we could do for them. We could get them some shoes and do some stuff. Okay. What would that person do? What would it look like if you were a 15-year-old orphan one day living in an orphanage, and the next day you had a family that was going to take care of you and things were presented to you? You've got to imagine that person might have a little bit more exuberance about going to school or about having 3 square or about having a family. You see what I'm saying? Everything gets put into perspective. And very rarely do I come across stories or things about people or situations that make me think, oh my God, I'm not doing anything with my opportunities. The idle time that I have sometimes can make you feel like it's wasted because there are other people out there in the world whose idle time is spent surviving or hiding or living in tents, okay? But you don't ever get to see what somebody can do when they see it. A lot of times you don't get to see it. I can tell you a story about a man in where I come from, and I used to work in a car business. Car business gets very frustrating, extremely frustrating. Nothing gets more frustrating than when you send 5 people through finance and they go sign up for deals, and 3 days later they come back and the bank couldn't get them done, and everything goes to hell, and you get frustrated, and the world's coming to an end. And he had this terrible look. And our finance manager was this big, jolly, happy guy. And one day, one of our salespeople was bitching about it. And he says, hey, Bob, I tell you what, why don't you come with me? Let's go to lunch. We're going to have a great day. When I get back, I guarantee you're going to have a great day. And he took Bob down the road, and he introduced Bob to a guy's name. I think his name is either Andy or Max. I can't remember. So we're doing a sheet, and they drive around. Bob's like, what are you doing? It's like, I'm looking for Max. And all of a sudden, they drive down, and they see this guy getting on the bus, and he pulls over, and he goes, Max. Max stops, getting on the bus. He walks in, he goes, Max, this is Bob, and Bob's having a really bad day. And we just wanted to meet you, because after meeting you, things are always better. Max was getting on a bus. He has no legs. He's just torso. He's getting on a bus like this. And if you ever met Max or Andy, he's never said a cross word in his life. He's never been mad, never swore, never done anything. He's the happiest guy you ever met. He has no torso. Where are you going, Max? Oh, gotta go to the hospital. How come? Because I don't really have any kidneys. I'm missing some parts. When you're missing parts, you gotta go to the part store and get some stuff done. Bob was like, not having such a bad day today. Went back, sold himself a car. True story. The problem with that is that's kind of hard to, you don't know Max. You haven't seen some things. We, as a business and a people here, and out here too, I just feel like we have all come from a place where we felt like we got a little bit stifled. Every time we tried to move forward, somebody was holding us back. We're in a position now where we're not like that as a group. And probably in life, there's probably not too much in life out there right now because I think things are pretty good. Don, I'm sorry, I don't know you that well. I don't know, your life might be a train wreck. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I'm just saying. But right here, things are pretty good. They're definitely better than they were 3 months ago. No one's going to raise their hand and say, no, not, right? Right? Okay. So, what are we doing with that? Are we rolling? Or are we actually taking advantage of it? I'm going to show you a video that moved me, and I like music anyways. I don't know, maybe you've already seen it. And I want you to think. And the only thing I want you to think about is, am I taking advantage of what I got? Because this is a guy who had nothing, less than nothing. Okay, and it's poignant. This is not from years and years and years ago. We call this thing a bunker. This guy's lived in bunkers. Okay, I'm just going to let the video speak for itself. And again, I don't know that this message is all that powerful that I've said, but this one is. And if you disagree with me, you don't have a soul. You can do whatever.
White person.
To the X Factor. As the whole room starts to thin, many are leaving with their dreams in tatters. But for our next contestant, the opportunity to chase that dream is all he ever wanted.
Emmanuel. I'm Emmanuel. I'm 17 years of age and I live in Australia, originally from Iraq. I'm auditioning for X Factor because the dream is to become a professional singer, and I definitely want to be the best. At boarding school, I sing every day, every night. My mates say, you know, what are you singing, mate? Just shush, we're trying to concentrate in. So, yeah. If I were an X Factor, oh God, words can't even describe it. Wow.
Sorry, the video call.
How you doing?
What's your name?
Emmanuel.
Emmanuel. So who's here with you today?
My mum, my cousin, my auntie, and my brother.
How old are you?
Well, actually, I'm not exactly sure. When I was originally found in Iraq, in an orphanage, my mum found me. I was born with no birth certificate, no passport, nothing. My story is that I was born in the middle of a war zone. My brother and I, we were found by the nuns in a box in a park, in a shoebox. They brought me to the orphanage and we'd hear shots, noises that we didn't understand. It was like looking at an angel when Mum, Moira Kelly, walked through the orphanage door. She brought us both to Australia for surgery originally. And then sort of Mum fell in love with both of us. My hero would have to be my mother. She worked very, very hard, extremely hard, to change my life hugely. You know, some people say I was a man without an identity, but with my mother and with my brother, I believe that I can do this, you know.
Wow, good on you, man.
Thank you.
Good on you, man. So what are you going to sing?
I'm going to sing Imagine by John Lennon.
Beautiful. Good luck, mate.
Thank you. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. this lonely sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Yahoo! Imagine there's no countries. Anything to do. Nothing to live or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Nope. You need to hang out for the different sessions. I don't come across stuff very often that make you think. But you can't help but ask yourself, what are you doing? We got a great one. We got a great one. Those of us, 3 of us, definitely here, 4 of us who work together, we recognize it for different reasons. But, and that guy didn't win. There's no way. You know? But he, supposed to win. You want to talk about maximizing something, taking full advantage of something, full advantage. That's all you can do. I believe that that's the most important thing, is to maximize your options and your possibilities. In business, it's probably called leverage and forward thinking, or something creative like that. In life and outside of work, in between 5 and midnight, it's called doing that thing that makes you feel like that. Because as whatever we feel right now, good or bad or excited or sad, imagine what that guy feels. Imagine what that guy feels. And that's where we need to, I think. And I don't think that has anything to do with the shrimp replacement. That is all I do.
Good job, Brandon.
What's everybody's takeaways?
Yeah, I was hoping Cody turned the lights on so soon so I could dry up a little bit. Oh, that's great. That's great. I really would, Frank, like us, Jody and I talked about this. So you guys know we did those lunch we're doing, those lunch hours. I think it'd be great if we can blend it in somehow with what you guys are doing. So Jody, what we talked about is